grown up in New York City, and I love the community gardens, and so I thought I would use them as sort of a way to spark sort of site-responsive work. What I was interested in was the way in which these gardens represent the coming together of a community in the context of a New York where that's increasingly hard to find.
On her way to the train, our neighbor asks if I'm the one with whom she shares the wall. Although I am, I tell her I'm not.
So rather than just sort of bringing a play to a space, I'm interested in how narrative can use space as another character in a story. Because space is filled with so much meaning, especially places like this, like these gardens.
And so here, in this place, we thrive.
I think that art has many functions, but I think there's something special about theater and live performance that asks us to come together and asks us to take stock of one's community.
You should be back to gardening by March at the absolute latest.
I'm going to try to get back as soon as I can. The garden is very important to me.
There's something about sharing physical space and kind of like leaning into our imaginations and suspending kind of judgment and disbelief in order just to kind of be present with the story and what's happening around us.
I asked the playwrights to come into the garden and either do a little research and just use the architecture and let that inspire them. And the results are wide-ranging, you know, from very fantastical pieces to pieces that are very meditative to pieces that directly relate to the actual history of the garden to pieces that take place, you know, in like outer space. Like people kind of take it and run with it, which is what's so cool about it.
I love doing site-specific theater because it's so human. It takes the constraints of design and music, lighting, in a much more, I guess, elemental direction. And the set is already here for me to play with.
She asked me to come along with her, and you know, I thought I like plays, and not to mention the fact that like these plays are free, and I think that's really cool, especially, you know, how in like Manhattan a lot of the Broadway ones are super expensive.
And she's also my sister, so she like kind of had to come.
So often theater is so precious and so kind of like, come to us, you come to our space and sit and applaud and turn off your phone, and, you know, and that's fine, but I think that theater is a populist art form, and the way to make it accessible to everyone is to go to their places, to go into their spaces and not demand that they conform to our rules, because theater can take place anywhere, and should, in my opinion.